Welcome folks, welcome to this channel. This is your host Rahul Sukumaran and I'm glad to see that a lot of you are back on this channel. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to all my audience out there. Some of you contacted me offline and told me some very good feedback. And there was this one person, for the first time ever, he publicly commented on my channel and his name is Vipul. So hi Vipul, I hope you're watching this now, and I've also replied to your comment that you have made, and it's great to see that audience are actually coming and responding to you. I mean, that is like your happiest moment. It's not about the number of views or something else. It's about your audience. It's about you being able to communicate with the community that you're intended to communicate with, right? So last time, if you remember, I've already made 2 videos on how do you enter the FPM program, or how do you crack the CAT and move into the FPM or the PhD process and through the IIM system. So if you haven't watched that, please go and watch that and then come back here, because it would make more sense for you to do that. Now, last time I told you that you need to really figure out whether you want to spend 5 years in trying to find out whether the FPM program is for you or not, right? So this is Rahul Sukumaran again. I believe in transforming your lives and careers. So this is what we're going to talk about in this video coming up. So let's start with the reverse engineering of the FPM program. Now, you have to understand, why am I talking about reverse engineering of the FPM program in this video? First of all, what do you mean by reverse engineering? So before you get into anything for that matter, it need not be FPM, but this is the context, so I'm talking about the FPM. You need to first understand where you're trying to go and what are the rules of that game that you're trying to get into. Because if you don't understand the rules of that game, you cannot play it, or you're going to be a really bad player, which is going to be really not a good idea for you. And this is true in any game or in any profession that you take. So first, when I say reverse engineer, I want you to understand that we need to first understand what is the expectation out of you when you enter this program and when you do this program, right? Now, once you understand that, you will be able to figure out how you can approach this beast, this animal called the FPM admission or the IIM admission, right? And this is why we're starting with what are the expectations out of you from this program. And now there are 2 parts of it. One is like the expectations that you would, that you're expected to do like during the program. And the other is post FPM. Now, post FPM I will be covering in the next video, so stay tuned for that. But as of now, I'm going to kind of tell you what are the expectations from you during the program. So you see, first you need to understand that the people who are trying to recruit you into this program, they're trying to look at your research potential, right? So what is potential? Potential means your ability or your capability, your future capacity to do something. It need not be that you're already research oriented or research driven, or you've already published. If you've done that, it's great, it's good, it's absolutely good. Still, you can continue watching because you get some tips out of this for sure, and I guarantee that, right? So what do I mean by research potential? It means like, can you actually get into this program and understand what research means? Can you do research? And can you actually move to a stage where you're contributing new knowledge to the chosen field, right? In management, of course. And so we kind of try to understand this process here, and I'm going to try to break it down into simpler pieces so that it becomes easier for you. And so hold on with me, all right? Now, how do you first understand what is research? Now, you need to understand this at a very fundamental level. I am not complicating things for you here. I'm trying to simplify it. So you need to understand that research means that you're starting with a basic idea, right? So, I mean, all of us know that we have ideas and it could be about anything. But then here, we need to have ideas that are specific to the field of specialization that you've chosen. For example, in management, there are fields like organizational behavior, marketing, finance, information systems, operations, etc., etc. There could be more. Right? Now, you need to first figure out what is your chosen area of specialization. It could be like, something that you're interested in, or something that you've read across, or all those audience out there who already have done an MBA program. You're aware of these different functions that are there in management field. So you would have probably figured out what is it that you want to do. And if you have still not figured out, it's fine. Okay, I'll tell you how to do it. So now, let's look at each of these specializations and understand how we can produce this idea. So let's say, for example, you're looking at a subject like organizational behavior, or you're looking at marketing for that matter, right? Now, the first thing I want you to do is go and read the basic textbook or reference book in that field, right? So first you need to figure out what are the basic things in that field. So you need to first start at the ground level, right? Only then you can rise up. You cannot start here. You need to start here, right? So that's the whole point. So if it is organizational behavior, then you need to go and read a book like Robbins. Or if it is marketing, you need to go and read Philip Kotler. I mean, these are like the two kings in their fields, and they're talking about the basic things in their textbooks, and that is what will give you the fundamental information to start with. Now, let's say you keep reading, let's say a text like organizational behavior, and now you come across a topic that interests you. For example, you come across this topic called attribution. Now, what is attribution? Attribution, let's not get into the definition of it, right? I'll give you a simple example. All of us have gone to college, and let's be honest with this, all of us, or at least most of us, have been late to the class, right? Now, let's say we are a person who goes regularly on time to the class, and one day, just one day, you're late to the class. What do you think the professor would think? Now, the professor might think that, hey, Vipul is someone who comes on time, and today he's late. Maybe his bus is late, or his train is late, or some other external causes. I'll just let him in the class. Right, Vipul? So you're inside the class. Now, let's say Akhila is someone who regularly comes late to the class. And that day, she had a genuine reason for coming late to the class. But then she walks into the class. And what do you think the professor would think? This is a girl who comes late to the class anyway. So why should I let her in? Akhila, go out of the class. This is what would happen, right? So this is the way you attribute, a positive or a negative quality to something or to someone, right? Now you can read it up conceptually. Probably you can treat this as an exercise. Go and read up what is attribution, what is attribution error, right? And what are the fundamental elements of it, right? Now let's say you kind of narrow in on this topic called attribution. Now what do you do next? Yeah, you found this interesting. It's good. You've actually seen this happening in front of you also, right? Now you go to the biggest platform on this planet, which is called the internet, right? Go to www.googlescholar.co.in or .com, depending on where you're watching this from, right? And then you just punch in the keywords attribution. Just type it in. That's it. Now, a lot of articles are going to pop up by people who have already researched about this field and who have already written about it. Now, what do you need to do? You just need to go and see what are the free papers that are available on the right-hand side of the page, of the web page that loads. You would be able to download the papers, right? Now download it. That's an easy task, right? Probably that's the only part of the easy task that's here. So let's see what we do next. Now, once it's downloaded and it appears neatly on your desktop, go and read that title. Yes, read the title, because the title tells you what it is all about, right? The title kind of gives you, a pointer, a hook into what is it that is coming in this entire paper, right? Now read the title. Reread the title. Good. After doing that, go to the abstract. There's a small section, it's like a summary of the paper where you can kind of understand what was the research objective or what was the research question that the researcher was trying to explore, and how did they do it? How did they build that? What methods did they use? What findings did they have? You'll find a kind of summary of it, right? And that's what abstract is. So what do you do with abstract? Read it. Reread it. Read it again. Read it multiple times till it sinks in, because this is really important. And I want you guys to do this. I want you guys to stay with me on this, right? Because it's not me who's trying to crack the admission. It's you, and I want you to do this exercise. Now, let's say after you read it and you connect it to the kind of example that I told you. Now, the example that I told you is something which you have observed. So observation is another method of getting ideas, right? And observation, let me tell you, and I'm very serious on this, and believe me, mark my words, observation is king when it comes to research. When you say observation, that covers everything that, your five senses can kind of absorb and kind of assimilate, right? And now that you can connect it with your research that you've read. For example, in the attribution example, which I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, you could look and see, maybe you've seen a friend, she had come late to the class, and the professor didn't let her in, and that she had a genuine reason. Okay, now why did the professor behave that way, right? This is something which could already be researched. There could be some reasons for it. Now you could find more reasons for it, or can you kind of look at it from a different point of view? Can you find a different concept that could link this, This is the way you build it, right? This is the way you build it. So you remember last time in my last video, for those of you who have watched it, you would know I told you in my very first point that when I say that you have to build something new or totally new, there are some caveats to it. So these caveats are also explained in this video, right? So when I say something that is totally new, what I mean is that first you need to learn the fundamentals, right? You need to first understand where you have to build your complete ideas from, which is why you look at the literature. So going to Google Scholar, as I said, and downloading that paper and reading what I said and not stopping at the abstract and title, of course, and going further and reading papers after papers that are linked together. This is how you build, your idea. And let's say now you've done all this, right? Maybe you feel that, okay, this is not enough, I want to look at more ideas. Now, how do I do that? You go to something like a newspaper, as simple as that. I mean, I understand that most of us don't like opening newspaper and sitting like that in front of it, like, the whole day. But we all have a mobile phone, right? We have a smartphone and we have apps which can deliver news straight to our notification bar, right? Just pull it down, right? Do that, right? Now, let's say there is a news, like, for example, the recent elections that happened. Right? Now, if you look post the elections, you would see that a lot of people who have invested in organizations and companies had made a lot of money. So the stock market just skyrocketed, Sensex, Nifty, everything. So this could be a point of observation. Like, how did this happen? Or why did this happen? Why didn't it go down? Right? Why did it go up? What are the reasons for it? Maybe this could also give you some research idea. So, are you trying to get what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is that, it's not just something that's bookish, or it's not like you just read something out of a textbook and I'm a great researcher. No, that doesn't happen, right? You need to combine all these skills. You need to combine your ability to think, right? To read research papers, to observe and bring elements from there, connect them. Now that's how you do it, right? Now, finally, let's say you have a totally awesome idea. Now, what do you do with it? You have an idea. Do you just sit with it? No, that's not what you do. You want to present it to the world. So, how do you present it? You present it just like I am presenting to you right now, right? That's one way. I mean, like, you could present it to an audience orally, right? You could prepare a PPT and kind of present it, or you could just plain talk to people, right? When I say people, what I mean is that you talk to other researchers, because they are your target audience in that case when you write a research paper. It need not necessarily be layman, right? Because they have nothing to do with your field. So in your chosen field of specialization, like I said, in the case of the attribution example, you would be talking to other people who are doing research in organizational behavior or the social sciences, and you would be putting out your idea to them, and then they would be able to build further on it. And how do you do that? I mean, you can't just talk to everybody out there, right? You can't just talk to everybody out there, and that's not the way. Like I said, the rules of every game are different, and you need to understand the rules of the game to play it, right? So one is presenting your idea orally, but what is more important is being able to write it. So you should be able to just write your idea. And when I say write it, you don't have to write a whole book of your idea. Just write a page. That's right. Just write one page of your idea. Start by doing that, right? Now you have this idea written. Now try to think like, is this idea connected to what I wanted to say, or is it something different? Now rework on the idea, rewrite it, think, write, read, do a combination of these things, and you'll be able to figure out, right? So my friends, like, this is the first step into understanding, how do you build a research idea. And when I say, this might look like a complex thing, but then it's not, right? I've broken it down into pieces, and I'm even trying to, probably maybe I can try putting what I've written here in the last or at the end of the video, so you can have a detailed look. And I'm telling you, I want you to pause the video at places, and I want you to take notes, because this really would help you in the process. Because as long as you don't understand, how to tame this animal, you would not be able to break in through the process. So this is the first step. Understanding expectations from the program, understanding the expectations from you of this program. That's the most important thing. And in the next video, I'll be talking about what are the expectations post this, right? Which is also equally important. And I'm hoping that you guys would stay tuned, right, to whatever has happened. And I've told a lot of things, I know that, but then, I'm telling you, rewatch the video, pause it, take notes, and like try to figure things out. Now, let's do something here, right? I want you guys to do an exercise so that I am also sure that you guys are actually doing this, or you're actually getting what I'm saying. I want you to go to Google Scholar. I want you to actually type a topic of your interest, right? Like I said, figure it out in the way, or just go to Google itself and see what interests you, and then go back to Google Scholar, type that, punch those into that, the box that appears, punch it, and I want you to download a paper, and I want you to put in the comment section below, like what paper have you downloaded? What is the title of the paper? Just put the title of the paper, right? And if you want to discuss further on it, put it down there and let me know what do you want to know about it, or what is it that interested you in that, what brought you to that paper, right? So remember, you are trying to crack the admission process, right? And I'm trying to help you with it, but then you have to stay with me in the process, and only then that happens, right? So I hope that you were able to take out something out of this video, and if you feel that this is something which is really relevant and it is helping you, please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe is that red button down below the video. Do that, guys, and stay tuned for the next video where I'll be explaining post FPM, what are the expectations, and then we'll learn how to crack it. So these are all steps in the process. So thank you again. This is Rahul Sukumaran, trying to transform and change your lives. Thank you.